Tier list time for World of Warcraft Classic Season of Mastery. Now this is going to be my predictions and tier list focus primarily on PVE and raid performance. So how will all of these classes do in raids? I'm not looking directly at performance for PvP. This is going to be for raiding. We could do 3 different ones. We could do a leveling tier list where we toss Hunter and Warlock in S tier, Druid in A tier, and do it that way. Warrior, have fun down here in F tier. But that's not what we're going for, guys. Not today. Not today. This tier list is for raids. Let me close the door. Let me close the door. Okay. Let's start over on this side. We're just going to go straight all the way through. Mages. Season of Mastery has new mechanics in these raids that pretty much make it so that melee take more damage. The general populace, especially in places like Reddit, think this means that ranged are absolutely king now in Season of Mastery. And this is definitely true in hardcore situations. Definitely more safe to play a ranged in a hardcore situation. But the counterproductive thing that they did is made all fights last longer. You don't have world buffs, so you do less damage. And they added ads to almost every single fight. So now there's this new thing called Cleave that's even stronger. Regardless, Mage itself. Mage is a single target class, and for Season 1 or Phase 1, actually all phases until a Q phase, you're most likely going to be Frost Spec, Frost Arcane. This spec is very powerful, and it was the most powerful ranged class in WoW Classic in these early phases. I would say that Mage ends up being something more like C tier here. The issue being, one, you do have Innervate. For every boss, you'll have it up because of how long Trash actually takes in Molten Core, most likely. But, hear me out, you're going to have mana issues. No matter what, you're going to run into mana issues. No matter what, you're going to run into mana issues on a Mage. Are you getting the Innervates? Maybe, but there's multiple Mages. And how many Druids are there? And what do they have to innervate themselves as healers? Because everyone's running into mana issues. Mages dropped down from probably being A tier in original Classic in Phase 1 to being C tier. RIP, I love you all. Shaman. Oh, this is complicated because there's 3 different specs. So what spec should we be looking at here? Or should we give it an overall generalization? Now, if we're looking at Enhancement Shaman, I would say it would be right here. If we were looking at Elemental Shaman, it would be F tier. But the only spec that actually matters is Resto Shaman. Resto Shaman is insane, and the biggest thing that Resto Shaman brings, of course, is Wind Fury. Resto Shaman is the only spec that is viable, legitimately viable, for anything, for any sort of rating. Even though a lot of people want to bring Enhanced Shamans or Elemental Shamans, and some guilds might. Some guilds absolutely might. I think it's going to be a lot harder to pull that off in Season of Mastery than most people think. And Resto Shamans. Oh, is Resto Shaman our very first class to be actually S tier? Chain Heal is insanely powerful, and totems are massive. Everybody loves to say that Salvation is like a godsend, but Resto Shamans have the exact same thing with Tranquil Air. So you can just weave. That does cost mana, yes. Resto Shamans early on in any sort of speedrun situations absolutely had to chug green mana pots, and it doesn't look like Blizzard patched that from being unavailable, I guess would be the right way of saying it. So it doesn't look like Blizzard actually patched that. So a twisting shaman in a speedrun or any sort of raid situation, it's going to cost a lot of consumables, but everything is going to cost a lot of consumables, is S tier. I guess if you chug green mana pots, flasks, you could argue that Mage is B tier, but let's be realistic. Most likely that's not going to happen. Paladin. Paladin tank. Ret Paladin. The only Paladin that matters. Holy Paladin. Holy Paladins are the bread and butter, and they are what make Alliance viable. Holy Paladins are absolutely what make Alliance viable. But Resto Shaman is slightly stronger in Season of Mastery. The main thing you'll see is when I get into Warriors and why that is an issue. But with a Paladin, you do get Kings, you do get Might, and you also do get Salvation. Salvation is amazing, and you don't want to pull Threat. But to be brutally honest, if you're pulling Threat from your tank, there's an issue more with your tank. Fire Aura, you also get Fire Aura, but you also have Fire Totems. A tier, for sure, one of the strongest healers in the game, absolutely. And they bring a lot of utility to the raid, as well as Paladins can still bubble pull any sort of crazy pulls that we know if anyone decides to actually speedrun, we're going to still pull off because they didn't buff trash HP. So, another thing that we have is, yes, Judgment of Wisdom and Judgment of Light is going to add up massively. Being a Horde Hunter, you're going to be like here. Being an Alliance Hunter, you're going to be right here. That's the mega difference. Priest, Shadow Priest, actually is in pretty similar boat to Mage. DPS wise, Shadow Priest is pretty strong right now, but the issue is you have no mana. RIP. But the only thing that matters is a healer. How powerful are priests? I would say that they're also A tier, basically as strong as paladins, but not as strong as shamans. Shamans, I think, are the most powerful class, especially without world buffs and these longer fights. Shamans are going to bring the most utility to the guild or the raid. Here it is, guys. Where is Warrior, the king of classic? Where does Warrior land on this list of gods? Warrior tank, obviously S tier. But we're not talking about Warrior tank.
No, it's for me.
Thank you for the resub, Otate. It's me. How's it going, brother? How you been? Warriors lose world buffs. World buffs made it so that you could just legitimately keep holding down Cleave or Heroic Strike and never have to worry about Rage. Now you absolutely have to Heroic Strike cancel. There still is in the game the bug where Heroic Strike canceling and Cleave canceling makes it so that your offhand hits 100% of the time. That gives you extra Rage. Warriors on Alliance do have Salvation so they don't pull. But you're also, with all of these adds, gonna be needing to off-tank things even as Fury Prot. And you can, by the way, Fury and Fury Prot tank every boss in this game right now. You absolutely can Fury Prot tank all of them currently in Season of Mastery in pretty terrible gear. So trust me when I say we're probably not going to see deep prot for like every main guild. Fury Warriors were absolutely, bar none, the S+ tier of Classic. No one could catch them in Original Classic, and that was because of world buffs. Warriors scale the best with gear and the best with world buffs. Higher rage or higher world buffs, more crit, and doing more damage means that they get more rage per ability. They don't have that anymore, and now they're gonna fight for rage all the time. Now there's two main differences here, honestly. One, I think a Warrior on Alliance is still A tier, kind of A minus tier, but you're gonna be massively rage starved. Warrior on Horde is gonna be insane. Warrior on Horde is absolutely the way to go from any sort of raider's perspective. If you want to parse, if you want to do more damage, Horde is going to have the advantage. Absolutely. Horde already had the advantage in original classic until around AQ, until you can get the rank 14 gear, which of course we can get a lot faster here, but there's still the issue of not having world buffs. Warrior A tier for both, A plus tier for Horde, and A minus tier for Alliance. Still the strongest DPS with gear. It will end up being the strongest DPS, but there's something that Blizzard did which makes them not the strongest DPS. Not even close. Cheers, all of my fellows. All of my fellow yellows. So you're absolutely going to want to be Horde. Being an Alliance Warrior feels bad. You're still doing more damage than anything else can do. But it just feels bad because you're rage starved. It's not, it doesn't feel great, and you do a lot less damage than a Warrior on Horde. The God of Season of Mastery until AQ. The God of Season of Mastery until AQ. S plus tier. SS plus plus tier. SS plus plus tier. Look at this video of little baby Sarthe. This gear set is absolutely amazing. Let me show you some sims. Let me show you some people running around. Look at me. I am Sarthe. Tier 0.5. Holy crap. Insane set for rogues. It is legitimately only going to be replaced when you have full gear, your full tier 2.5 from AQ. So there's only one phase left after that. Rogues are going to be massive, massive, massive pumpers. Until then, what happens in AQ? Warriors take them over. Warriors take them over. That's what happens. But for the first half of this game, rogues are going to be the kings of Classic finally. Congratulations. The only way a warrior is going to compete is if they go rank 14, which a lot of them will do. Every warrior has to go rank 14 to compete. But yeah, exactly. 99% of the warriors won't go rank 14. As a rogue, you don't need to go rank 14. Although, if you do go rank 10, you can get a 2-piece, which is really, really strong, and it'll be Abyss 2-piece for you. Rogues, in Phase 1 and Phase 2, I believe, Abyss is going to be daggers even. Rogues can finally go daggers, so you're not competing with all of your warriors for swords. Perdition's Blade and Corehound Tooth is stronger than anything else, and you don't replace Perdition's Blade until the last boss of AQ 40, Cthulhu, as he drops Death's Sting. Technically, you can replace it with an armament and getting one of those daggers. Technically, you can, actually. All right, so I refrain from saying that. Technically, you can. It's not as strong as Death's Sting, but it is an upgrade over Perdition's Blade. Okay. Main hand and all fan. Pretty awesome dagger. Rogues are going to be champions for so long in World of Warcraft Classic, Season of Mastery. Warriors are going to be struggling to keep up. The one thing that I think all rogues that are going to be playing Horde need to know that they might not know is, of course, you reset your abilities on a weapon swing or on a Wind Fury proc, so always use abilities after Wind Fury procs. This is probably the one thing I miss the most, is actually tracking your weapon swings to make a good rogue versus a great rogue versus any normal rogue. This is the one thing I miss the most, and it's why I like Hunters in TBC Classic, because you're tracking your weapon swings all the time. This is going to be so much fun, and we are absolutely gonna pump. Congratulations, Rogue. You're finally the #1 DPS. All right, guys, Druid. We're gonna look at two different things for Druid. This is the hardest one because Druid also has two viable specs, I would say. Feral Druid and Resto Druid. All right. Feral Druid still does less threat than a warrior. Fury Prot or Deep Prot, unfortunately. But they're almost just as good. They have a less mitigation, almost just as good. Healing Druid, a weaker healer than Priest or Paladin. You're also absolutely going to have to farm an infinite amount of Gnomer to get MCP. They can pump more threat, but they're not going to be as solid of a tank all overall. The one thing that warrior tanks also have is they're going to be doing more damage if they're Fury Prot. I would say Feral Tank could be A tier, but because of everything Druid is, it's a B tier class. Why is Rogue before Warrior? Tier 0.5 set is out on launch, and it's end of AQ equivalent for Rogues. That's why. Warriors are going to use their tier 0.5 also. They've got items like their boots and stuff, which are crazy, but like they're not as good as chromatic boots. Rogues are going to destroy. Rogues are going to destroy. Warlock! It's finally your time to shine, guys. Longer fights, and you can life tap all of your mana back. Congratulations. A lot of ads, and you can multi-dot them. Congratulations. There's no debuff limit, and actually adding dots doesn't actually really increase your DPS. Kek L. Congratulations. Warlocks are fighting for A tier. No aggro drop. I don't think you're actually going to have issues with threat. I mean, I haven't seen anyone have issues with threat, and Warlocks have better gear than like the doo-doo geared tanks on the Season of Mastery. I don't think you're actually going to have issues with threat unless your tank's bad. I think that's just a... If you ever have issues with threat, outside of right at the beginning of the fight, your tank is bad. I want to give Warlocks A tier. Have issues with threat as Horde? Just weave Tranquil Air. I want to give Warlocks A tier. I think they're like right here. I think Warlocks are close. Warlocks get B tier. But do Warlocks get A tier? I feel like their A tier is below Warriors A tier, obviously. Warlocks get B tier, guys. It's official. All right. Hunter, the final class. The Chad class of TBC. We have nobody down here in F other than the meme specs. Guys, nobody down here in F other than meme specs. All meme specs go F. All meme specs get F. Hunter. B tier. F to pay respects for all meme specs. Hunter, B tier. I think Warlock should do more overall in damage. But a good Hunter is beating most locks. Eplios is able to pump. Mage Sag? I hope I'm wrong about Mage mana issues. I hope I'm wrong about Mage mana issues. If so, though, the hard part about it is I still think Warlocks and Hunters are slightly better than Mage. So I wish I had done this spread out even more. The only S tiers are absolute. These are S tiers. Game over, S tier. These are all A tiers. And maybe I spread this out a little bit. I wish, like, I don't want these to fully be in a different tier. No, this is what it is. This is what it is. Hunters can farm tribute runs on Season of Mastery. It's already being done. It's already being done. Honestly, I might do tribute runs on my hardcore hunter.